Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagam. Okay, and welcome to another dragging video. Let's get started. We're starting off in Amsterdam in the Netherlands at the PC Hoefstraat boutique, which is the flagship boutique for the Netherlands. I spent several $1,000s here at I spent several $1,000s at Big H throughout Europe. Unfortunately, this one on this leg of the trip, the belt buckle from one of my belts went missing. I went to this boutique to hopefully replace the buckle. After waiting an hour for service at this location, I was advised they would not waive their policy to sell a buckle alone, which is priced separately from the belt. A total lack of courtesy after spending a not insignificant amount of money. Their policy is to sell them together. However, the situation is unique due to the documented loss. Obviously, the buckle was stolen because the person said documented loss. However, it is now my intention to return the rest of the purchases after the trip as they don't want to support their customers. Okay, first of all, it sucks having your things stolen, and this person had their things stolen. But I'm sorry, it is not Big H's, fault at that boutique. They didn't have anything to do with the theft. I don't know what this person expected. You thought they were going to sell you a buckle. You thought they're going to sell the buckle on its own. They're not. It's a belt. Okay, that obviously comes with the buckle. They're not going to sell the buckle on its own. The person knows that. And I bet you this person knew they couldn't pull that stunt in their home store, and they thought that they were going to go to the Amsterdam flagship. This is a very famous boutique that many people have complained of poor treatment at this store. Lots of VIPs, lots of big ballers, handing lots of big spenders. It does not matter that you're a big baller, big spender in your home store. If you're going to a boutique in Europe and you're not from Europe, as far as the European standalone stores is concerned, you're just some random person off the street trying to, nickel and dime your way into getting a free buckle, because that's what the person is trying to do. Oh, I had my, belt stolen, rah. Can I have a buckle? Can I have a complimentary one? Probably ask for a free one as well. Just doesn't want to mention it. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, I just don't understand what are people's expectations. I think sometimes people are pretty delusional. We think just because it's like this high-end boutique, that they're going to give you a freebie because you shopped in another location but you haven't maybe spent a ton with them. Girl, we've been here many times before. At Big H, everyone is rich and everyone can spend a lot of money. So I think at a certain point, it's not even necessarily like how much money have you spent at the brand before. I'm not saying that this person hasn't spent any money. They have, but what did they expect? Your belt buckle and belt was stolen. That happened to you. That had nothing to do with this store. I think the client's wrong. I don't agree. The next review is from this Amsterdam location, the flagship store. Such a terrible experience. I was waiting in line, then waiting inside. While I was browsing, the security guard proceeded to yell at me to not touch anything. Oh God, here we go. Then he followed me upstairs to make sure I wasn't touching anything. Get your security trained correctly to have courtesy for clients. This is Big H, not some random store. You can yell at clients. They're going to yell at you. I expected better from this boutique. Okay, now, this reminds me of something I saw at Sevres in February. I remember when we were walking around, just milling around the Sevres location on that Friday evening when we went to Sevres, there were a lot of signs that said, please do not touch, just look, like don't touch, particularly at homewares. I would never dream of touching anything like homewares, or of course the bags cannot be touched, we all know this. That does suck that they were yelled at. It's not a good feeling to be yelled at in a shop, but that is bound to happen, particularly because Big H is really weird about clients trying to touch things. Like, they don't like it. Chanel is really crazy about this as well. In a lot of the dragging reviews for Big C, people complain of poor treatment once they try and touch a bag or something. Someone comes over to yell and moan and shout at them, no, you can't touch. I think it is what it is. The next dragging review is from the Amsterdam location again on the PC Hoefstraat. I waited roughly an hour outside to pick up an order. Once inside, I stated the purpose of my visit. The lady at the door brought me my order, which I asked to see. Her response was, it was just a pickup. I explained that I bought the order online and would like to see the product as it's a present for my daughter. This happened so quickly, I felt like I was being rushed. The SA didn't show any interest in me as a customer, didn't ask if I was satisfied or I needed anything. Her manner was abrupt, unfriendly, and unwelcoming. After this brief customer service experience, I was super disappointed in Big H. I would expect Big H to do something about customer service comments. I think, again, this is one of those great examples of like someone buying something online and expecting like the in-store SA to care. They don't care because you didn't buy it from their store. Of course, they're going to fulfill it and they're going to honor it as they should. But the Big H SA does not care, because it's like, you didn't buy it in the store, I don't care. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying, I like for click and collect, I wouldn't expect them to roll out the red carpet for a click and collect order. This is crazy. Okay, so now now we're heading to the UK, because this is where not the UK, we're still in Amsterdam. This is another dragging review. I walked in and wanted to look at handbags. They told me to make an appointment. The store was not busy. I was really disappointed, put me off the brand. They need better people to manage the store. The lady was rude as if it was her shop. I mean, come on, girl. You knew what you were doing, walking in there saying you want a handbag. You haven't bought anything. Come on now. Listen, guys, I feel like with these dragging reviews, we all know how it works at Big H worldwide. Even in the UK, you know, places like Britain where people say, oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter. A lot of you in the UK were like, oh, I picked this up, oh, I bought this, oh, I bought that, and all the rest of it. You knew what you were doing walking in there asking for handbags, and you tried the wrong location. This particular store has a lot of wealthy Dutch people, so like Dutch people who are really rich who shop there. So you have a wealthy local clientele, which the boutique could happily just exist off the wealthy local clients who shop there. Then you have people shopping in the EU, so EU tourists who have lots of money and will drop, you know, tens of thousands of euros to try and score. So I think the idea that you're just going to walk in off the street and ask for a handbag, I'm kind of cringing, because I would die. Cringing, thinking of doing that without like buying anything else. So I definitely wouldn't dream of doing that. The next boutique is the Big H at Selfridges in London in the UK. This is from a while ago, but I still think it's worth us chatting about because it was an interesting experience. I wanted us to talk about it. The first SA who approached me was really friendly. She said, as I'm already a Big H customer, I deserve to be served nicely, so she told me to have a seat. She brought an SA to me after a few minutes, and that SA was super rude. I showed her the twilly on my Birkin and asked for a matching one for the other handle. She didn't even bother to check if they had the twilly in stock. She brushed me off within 10 seconds when I asked her if they had any bags in the boutique. This is a great example of not understanding, like particularly in Europe, in my opinion, like any part of Europe, whether it's the UK, whether it's France or the Netherlands, not understanding the kind of etiquette of being a tourist trying to score. A lot of the locations in Europe will sell to tourists. It's my understanding the Amsterdam location probably won't. You probably need to spend 6 figures for that to happen. But the London boutiques, I've heard many times that the different London boutiques are known to sell to tourists, and you can leave with a BKC on the same day, but you're going to show a lot of loyalty, depending on which boutiques it is. I think in London there are a bunch of stores. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but there's Selfridges, there's Harrods, there's the one I think on Sloane Street as well. I think there's also one in Manchester as well. So there are a bunch of them in the UK. I think there might be another one that I've missed. So it's like this person just completely went in there and didn't understand how it works. I mean, she went in there with her Birkin. Okay, that's good. So you're a client, but you're just buying a twilly. As you're buying a twilly, you ask the SA, do you have any bags in the store? At Selfridges, like that location probably makes hundreds of thousands of pounds a day. Hundreds of thousands of pounds a day. And you're just like asking for just one twilly, and then you ask her back in. I don't know, guys, like I just and then you're like surprised that you got dragged. I mean, you're going to get dragged. Okay, there are tourists who drop, hundreds of thousands as well, and there are people who spend tens of thousands as tourists at the different London boutiques, and they have, particularly the store that I've heard that will sell to tourists is Harrods. For those of you who are curious, Harrods keeps coming up over and over again all over social media that if you spend tens of thousands of pounds, you might get something there. But this is the Selfridges store. I think that people need to be realistic, and again, things like this happen because of social media. There's always one person on social media who isn't telling the full story. So people will say things like this, like people will be like, I walked into the Harrods store, I was looking around, and then, I walked into Selfridges, Big H, I was looking around and I picked up those tress bangles, like a fashion bangle, and I picked up some Morans, and then the essay casually asked me if I'm interested in buying bags. When really, it was probably like the person went to buy ready-to-wear, picked up a few ready-to-wear pieces, maybe had a look at watches, but picked up a bunch of pret-a-porter for herself and her partner, and then went to get the fashion bangle, and then went to get the shoes, and then maybe the essay casually brings up bags because of the ready-to-wear purchases. People don't tell the full story, and that's why people then get excited thinking, all you have to do is buy a pair of shoes or buy a twilly or buy a fashion bangle, which might be like £500, £400, and then, or 300 quid really, for the UK, and then ask and then you get one. And that's really not how it happens, and we know that. And then people then go and end up having a horrible shopping experience. In this review, she says the first essay was nice to her. The first essay was nice because she saw the Birkin, but the second essay wasn't dealing with her when she asked for a bag after saying that she wants a twilly. So you wanted to buy one twilly and then get presumably a quota bag. Something I've noticed, particularly in Paris, and I think this would be the same for all the other European cities as well, including London, is the moment you ask for a bag, the tone and the vibe and the mood and the energy shifts. It's like night and day. It's like the sun sets, the moon comes out. It feels like a Bronte novel, and the essay's moody and grumpy, and before they were happy the moment you ask about bags. So, and it just like the mood and the vibe changes. The next dragging review is from the Selfridges boutique for Big H. Again, from a while ago, but I still think it's worth us mentioning. Super rude stuff. By all means, please avoid this essay named XYZ. She's really evil and greedy. Okay, that's a bit harsh. She told me all of her existing clients have to spend £9,000 on other items in order to get a B or a K. Simply spending 3K isn't enough. The manager would not approve a B or K. Based on that, under European law, this type of behavior is, and should be reported to Big H head office. I do wish Big H head office could look at people's reviews and start eliminating toxic essays. Again, this is one of these things where, in Europe, I think in France they call it force savant or something, like forced sales, so like sales being directly linked. And according to Big H, sales are not linked, and it's about, availability, and if something is available. I mean, look, we're all adults here, we all pay our own bills, honey. We all get up to go to work and we pay our bills. I think we all know what is going on at Big H. I don't need to talk about it in a lot of detail. You watch my Birkin Bay videos. We all know what is going on. This person is brave to write this with her government name on Google reviews. If I was her, I would not be writing this with my government name, honey. But, at the same time, maybe this particular location requires that kind of loyalty, and some essays are different. You know what they say in the UK? Oh, this and this, it's about the wish, it's random. I don't believe anything that this brand does is random. If you want to believe it's random, even for the UK wish list system, you can go do that. I do not. I don't believe it's random at all. I actually think that the British system is much more political. I think that the system in North America and in Asia and the Middle East is probably, and Europe to a certain degree, is probably a little bit more fair because it's just about who is the most loyal client. Whereas in the UK, it's like very political. Does the SA like you and all this stuff? I mean, when I observe people in the UK who talk to me about their offers, it's always people who are showing a lot of loyalty. Therefore, the SA likes you because you're loyal, not because you're a nice person, not because your cat is beautiful, not because you have beautiful artwork like this, but because you're loyal. Then they can kind of fight for you and then say, oh, you don't have to pick up any other items. Yeah, sure, guys. Like, I just literally don't even have the time to fight anymore, because I'm just like so confused how people can I don't even know how people can believe this stuff. It's just so crazy to me. I mean, I'd love to know what you guys think about those ones. I have another one here, which is from America, but I'd love to know what you guys think about the European ones so far. I mean, I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, I feel like in Europe is just much more transactional. While the UK wish list, probably there is a degree where does the SA like you and stuff, I can get that. It's still pretty transactional though, generally speaking, I think, the European locations. Whereas the ones in North America, like you guys in the US and Canada, I found that, like, when I look at all of the people who follow me, the people from America and Canada focus way more on the relationship thing than people from Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The Glamazons who are from the Middle East, Asia, and Europe don't really talk that much about the relationship, whereas you guys from the US and Canada talk a lot about the relationship. Honestly though, my very unpopular opinion about this relationship stuff is this is a marketing tactic that Big H uses to just get people to spend more money in the boutique. Because if you tell someone you have to have a relationship and have a good relationship with the SA, that kind of encourages people to want to spend more. Even if someone isn't spending a ton, you know, I see this all the time in Facebook groups that people say, I remember once there was someone who said that she doesn't show a lot of loyalty and it's about the relationship with her SA. This person literally has purchased like exotic bags in the past. I don't know how you can say you don't show loyalty, but you purchased exotic bags. Exotic non-quota bags is the definition of loyalty. That is a tough sell. They know that you can take that money to Dior, to Louis Vuitton, to Fendi, and you can go, you know, elsewhere. So I'm not disputing that there is a connection that's required, particularly for those of you in America and Canada. But for me anyway, I just feel like it's too much work for me to see it as like a relationship. I just see it as a super transactional thing. I want to give a really good example. So I'm planning my trip now to go to Europe, and I was like looking for hotels, and I was thinking, oh, let me see, because I have the WhatsApp of the Dior SA that I met from the Avenue Montaigne. I'm like, let me see if she's still working there. The last time that she was on WhatsApp, and she was always on WhatsApp, even with that time when I was in Paris that week, she was always on WhatsApp every day, and she had like her last seen timestamp. The last time she was seen was like a month ago. So obviously she's not working at Dior anymore. And she did tell me, like, don't be freaked out if you come back and someone, I'm not working here, because I don't know how long I'm going to be working here. She was perfectly nice and really kind, but she left. She didn't tell me she was leaving. She did say I might not work here, but she wasn't like, oh, I'm leaving or whatever, you know, and nor should she. I'm probably not one of her top clients, and that's fine, because I just picked up 2 small things, and that's fine. So I feel like in Europe, it's just a more transactional thing, and it's just much more transactional. Honestly, I kind of prefer it that way. I don't really like making appointments. This is something I've learned about myself. I don't like making appointments. I would have to build your profile, you kind of have to. So like with the SA in Johannesburg that I met at Louis Vuitton, I'd make an appointment with her, and that's fine. But I realized like I don't really like making appointments. I'm a free spirit. I want to walk into the boutique when I want to walk in there. It's just one of my things. I understand that you have to make an appointment. So I'm just kind of sharing that to say she's clearly left Dior. She doesn't work at Dior anymore. She's not reading WhatsApps. She has an email. She's probably, you know, not reading that either. And like I said, when I purchased from her, she was on WhatsApp, because I'm on WhatsApp all the time anyway. And she was on WhatsApp, like literally constantly logged in. It said online. And now it's like she hasn't signed in for like a month. So she obviously doesn't work there. And she didn't let me know. She didn't, you know, write me an essay saying, oh, I'm leaving. She just left, and that's fine. So I think in Europe, it's just much more transactional. So I think if you are watching this and you're not from Europe and you're going to shop in Paris or London, don't try and befriend them. They just don't care, because you don't even know how long they're going to work there. The final dragging review is from Big H in the Meatpacking Boutique in New York. This one is going to be very interesting, so let's get started. It's a very long review. I waited until I had a second. Hold on, wait. The person wrote a really long, weird paragraph. Okay, forget that first paragraph. Didn't make any sense. One of my friends is a frequent flyer at Big H. She doesn't normally shop at Meatpacking, but we were in the area after socializing, so we decided to stop in. I don't get too caught up in labels, but I thought it would be fun to at least take a look around. This location is definitely in a trendy area, and while we had to wait outside before being let in, it wasn't too long. Once inside, we were told an SA would be with us shortly. While we waited, we decided to browse. The store is a decent size, everything is beautifully placed and gives off this ultra luxury aesthetic. We eventually made our way to the second floor where shoes and men's products were. My friend was looking at shoes and I actually eyed something that spoke to me, one of their Click H bracelets. It was a simple design, but it lets you know it was Big H due to the H in the center. I think you know where this is going. I think it's very obvious where this is going. Eventually an SA found us. Most of his energy was on my friend since we used her account when checking in at the door. After she was taken care of, I decided to inquire about the bracelet. He took it out for me to look at, but before I could make a decision, he started to speak to my friend again. After their conversation ended, he didn't really acknowledge me. He said he was going to put the bracelet back. However, I wanted the bracelet and stopped him to let him know that I was going to make the purchase. After that, we all went downstairs where he checked me out again not focusing on me and telling me how to open and secure the bracelet, stressing that if I did it wrong, they'd have to send it back to Paris to fix it. It would be this big thing. Now, I love the bracelet. I have no buyer's remorse. I'll definitely be using it. However, the customer service experience I got at this Big H was very unsatisfactory. If this was a typical mid-level department store, I wouldn't care, but it's not, and the customer service should be some of the best in the industry. Also, I sort of get it. I don't have a history of shopping at Big H, so they don't know my spending pattern. Okay, at least you know that. However, this SA didn't grab the opportunity to possibly attain a new client. Instead, he barely made an effort to accommodate me, rushed me through how to open and close the bracelet, focused on the negatives, what would happen if I broke it. I felt like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, minus the patent leather thigh-high boots, haha. Anyway, I visited another Big H and had a better experience, so my view of the brand isn't so tarnished. However, at first impression, this wasn't good. I'll think about twice before returning here. Again, this is a great example of all of the things that we talk about in the boutique. And even though this is this is a US location, I have said to you guys many times before, I still think it's worth letting them know what you're going to purchase, like when you get there, in order to stop drama. And I know that the person was there with their friend. Their friend is someone who shops at Big H, so they use the friend's profile. I still would have insisted on using my own profile, and I still would have been like, I'd like to look at some of the fashion bangles. Can you show me the ones you have? I know you guys always laugh at me when I'm like, oh, there she goes again saying, can you show me what you have? But I found that tends to work, and I would imagine that would work in America as well. I know some of you are like, oh, that direct thing doesn't work in America. Don't worry, I'll go to America at some point this year and I will try it out on my own. I think I'll be just fine, because because they used his friend's profile, the SA didn't take him seriously. This is like the SA, and normally at Big H, the SA will insist on starting a profile for you. Okay, because it's like they've opened a new account and stuff. The SA is like, oh, they're going to use the friend's profile so that the friend gets the purchase on his or her account. The SA didn't take him seriously. SA is just like, this person doesn't even want their own profile opened or whatever, and decided, to move on. The bit that I don't like and that I hate when SAs do things like this is taking the bracelet out, chatting to the friend, chatting to the mate, blanks the actual paying client, the client who's actually paying, whether it's a bracelet or not. And I know you guys are going to be like, it's just a bracelet. I get that. But that is the client who has come to pay. And then to be like, oh, taking it away when the person is still looking at it, that is extremely rude. And that, again, reminds me of an experience that I had at Versace as well. at the Avenue Montaigne, that horrible experience that I had, which hasn't tarnished my love for the brand, but I definitely don't like that location, and I'm happy to put some distance between me and that boutique because it was just like whatever. That's not to say I wouldn't go there again. I'm definitely not one of these people who, like some people are like, I will never go to that store again. I don't feel the need to go back to George Sank, but maybe I'll go back there one day. You know, it's like, maybe I'll go back there one day, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Now, this reminds me of something that happened to me at George Sank. Like, I don't like when you're looking at something because you might be making a decision to buy, and then they take it away. That's very rude. That happened to me at Versace and at Avenue Montaigne. So I definitely empathize with him. However, I want to mention something which I've noticed in a lot of dragging reviews. At the beginning of the review, he does say here, I don't get too caught up in labels, but I thought it would be fun to look around. I do think sometimes there are these people who go luxury shopping who think that they're too good for luxury brands and think they're too good for labels. And that kind of arrogance and kind of apathy, it does come across, I think, to the SA. And the SA can pick up on someone who thinks they're too good for Big H or too good for Big LV or Big C. And they're like, okay, you know, whatever. The SA was wrong to like take away the bracelet while he was looking at it. And SA definitely didn't take him seriously because he was like, oh, I'm here, you know, with my friend and we're going to use the friend's profile. In this kind of example, the first mistake was checking out via the friend's profile. That was the first mistake. He should have insisted on, oh, you know, my friend has a profile here, but actually, can you open a profile for me? Doesn't matter if he's just going to buy one thing and never return. Can you open a profile for me? I still feel like the SA would have taken him a little bit more seriously there. And then, what are you looking for today? I would like to look at some bracelets. Can you show me fashion bracelets? Can you show me the ones you have? And then go from there. I think that would be the better way of doing it, because the SA didn't respect him because he didn't check out on his own profile and he was there with his friend, and the sale went under the friend's profile. So the SA probably felt like he wasn't even really there to buy. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying like this is one of the signs of the times. So I'd love to know what you guys think about all of those dragging videos. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit notifications. Go join the groups. Link below and go follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Look, guys, I don't know how many times people have to get dragged by the ponytail to understand that it's just a different shopping experience. I must say, I don't find shopping at Big H to be particularly pleasant. Even in Paris, it's not a pleasant shopping experience. Faubourg this time around was okay. It's still not particularly pleasant. You get Faubourg, you just get blanked. Like everyone blanks you in there. Essays will be like bonjour, just like walking away from you before you're replying. It's not a particularly pleasant experience. In my experience, if you had a unicorn fairy tale cupcake experience, that's wonderful. I feel like my experiences at these boutiques is like just like a normal experience that I think a lot of clients would have. And that's why I love sharing and being kind of open. Many people have this like unicorn cupcake experience, like, oh, I went to Faubourg and it was so amazing, I feel like I want to marry everyone in there. I'm not like that, okay? I think that's a little bit dramatic and a bit over the top. But I must say, it's not particularly pleasant. And that's not to say it's horrible. It's nothing personal against the Big H boutiques. Big H just has its own shopping culture, and I think it takes some time to get acclimatized to the shopping culture. Though, that said, the first experience shopping at Seb in December 2021 was good. George Sank was George Sank. We've been there. Don't want to talk about that for ages. Did not like that experience. Faubourg, December 2021 was fine. I remember I met a male SA at Homewares, and he was perfectly pleasant. It was fine. And this time around, Faubourg was, you know, it was 24. 24 is 24 at the end of the day. 24 is going to 24, honey. She's going to put her 24-inch wig on and be herself. No one really cares that you're there. That's fine. I don't really care either. I was just, you know, with my cousin, we were just looking, whatever. And like I said, 24, I definitely think you can browse in there. I think I'd mentioned this before in my one of my previous dragging videos about the boutiques in Paris where you can't browse. Generally speaking, I don't go to standalone stores unless I'm buying something. I feel like for Walk 24, like you can browse, it's fine. And the reason why I feel like you can browse is because it's just so busy and there's so many people there every day. It's fine to just look around. Same with the YSL flagship, they're absolutely fine with that. But like Chanel and Louis Vuitton and other places, like once they see you browsing, they're like, get out. Okay. So this time around was also fine. You know, it wasn't like, oh wow, it's so amazing. The experiences at Dior and Moschino were amazing. I can't say that Big H's shopping experiences are amazing. They're not, they're just fine, you know? But at the same time, I don't need it to be amazing. Like, my life is not going to like live or die based on having an amazing unicorn Pegasus cupcake experience at 24 or at Sev or wherever, you know? And I think it's because, like I said, for me, it's just like, I like Big H, I like her exotic honey, and I like her colors, but I don't put Big H on a pedestal. I film these videos because they're interesting, we have a good time, but I love lots of other brands. That's the only way that I can shop at this brand, because I feel like if I did put Big H on this huge pedestal, I would be way more stressed shopping at Big H. Another thing which I want to mention is like the etiquette in speaking to people, I think is really important. I am also a fan of killing people with kindness. I've had a lot of really weird experiences in luxury stores, and I found that when you kill people with kindness, they become super embarrassed and humiliated. I feel like this gentleman who went to the meatpacking Big H boutique, the first mistake he made, as I said, was agreeing to the purchase being on his friend's profile. He should have insisted to have a profile made for him, and then you know, made sure that the profile went there. He actually wrote another review of the Big H Madison Avenue boutique, which I also read. And after he went to meatpacking, then he went to Madison Avenue. He said he had a perfectly fine experience. He bought something else for his dad, but guess what? He made a profile there. So even though it was just one small item, he had a good experience at the Madison Avenue Big H, and had a wonderful, fabulous experience, but he had a profile made for himself. I feel like if you're there, unless you're a couple, it doesn't sound like they were a couple, it just sounds like it was two friends. Unless you're a couple, like if your friend is ringing up the purchase under your profile, like your friend is ringing up their purchase under your profile, yeah, the essay was just like talking to the person, they could see the person's profile, see all their purchases, and just like, oh, this other person's not going to spend any money. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying it is the way that things are. So I'd love to know what you guys think. That review is from Yelp, and all the other reviews are from Google reviews. So as usual, you know, we film these dragging videos, you know, to laugh and just, you know, not like laughing at people. I've also been dragged. I've been dragged many times. At luxury stores, I've been dragged, boo. I've been dragged, and sometimes I've deserved it. Like, sometimes I was bang out of order. Like, when I look back, I got dragged at George Sank because I wasn't serious. Like, I was very delusional. That first trip, December 2021, I thought it was true. You just go in there and buy a lipstick, you get a BKC. I had no idea that that was a load of rubbish. And I went there and bought like the nail varnish, and you know, it was just like, I did feel that bad energy. Like I felt like the essay felt like, why are you here to buy a nail varnish? Like that was the vibe and the energy. And really, now when I look back on it, yeah, I wouldn't go back to Big H only to buy nail varnish. You should really just be buying other things, and then you can add beauty products. Unless you're grandfathered at the store, and in which case, if you're grandfathered at the store, you're already going to be getting your bag offers and stuff. And then at Versace, it's like I came at the end of the day, the essay was really moody, I asked for homewares, they're like, oh, we don't have it, and I'd been told by another Versace boutique on the Rue Saint-Honoré that they had it. So it was just like a horrible experience. But also, at the same time, I also broke a lot of the unwritten Paris luxury shopping rules. So that's why I want to share them with you guys. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this dragging video. Please consider following me on all of my socials, I link below. Go join my email newsletter as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.